When you look at the origins of the pandemic, the virus, God bless you.
I feel like we're in the damn Twilight Zone, really, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way. I am waiting at any moment for Rod Serling to jump out and say, here we are. Ted Cruz, over the weekend on his show, mentioned that he believed that the United States Supreme Court was wrong on gay rights.
In Obergefell, the court said, no, we know better than you guys do, and now every state must sanction and permit gay marriage. I think that decision was clearly wrong when it was decided.
We have these Republicans doing every flipping thing that they can to overturn equality and progress in this country. Now, it's bad enough that we got a longer way to go. But when you have mofos like Ted Cruz flirting around with this, it is troubling in so many ways. This is a hair on fire moment. So let me go and I'm going to break this down for you. So Ted Cruz declares his intentions to end legalized gay marriage. Republican Senator Ted Cruz said Saturday that the Supreme Court landmark decision legalizing gay marriage was a overreach on the episode of his show, The Cloakroom and the Verdict. Really, Ted Cruz? So they coming for our liberties. They coming for all that we love. And we cannot sit idly by and let these folks, whether it be Ted Cruz or that crazy, overreaching, conservative United States Supreme Court to continue to do what it is doing. We got to act. And I mean act right now. Folks like Senator Ted Cruz and this extremist court, Republican, conservative, led and controlled court, they're trying to come for everything that we love. And when I talk about that kind of love, I'm talking about a justice and equality and equity and liberation. That is what they are doing. They are going to be pushing these kinds of policies through the states' rights argument and states' rights in the Constitution, the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. Let's visit the Constitution. I'm going to read it for you. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So when we get into conversations about states' rights, it is important to know historically how states' rights has been used in a bad way to take away rights. The best example I can give you is what happened to African Americans throughout the history of this country. The states' rights argument when it came to slavery, the peculiar institution. We can fast forward to the 20th century, 21st century, talk about some more modern ways that states' rights has been used to take us back, to regress us as a nation. Let's think about voting rights. The same thing. And so those of us who are justice warriors, those of us who are fighting for liberation should be very leery most of the time when a states' rights argument is brought to the forefront. Because what that usually means is that marginalized communities are going to get messed up, get the shaft. This extremist Supreme Court and people like Senator Ted Cruz, they're not going to stop until we're back in the 50s, 1950s, 1930s. Hell, even trying to take us back to the 19th century as far as I'm concerned. So we have Roe v. Wade gone. Now they're talking about doing away with gay marriage. We have the Supreme Court making a decision on the environment. That is wrong. They're not going to stop. And so we cannot stop pushing against these mad men and mad women, these mad people who are pushing for a yesteryear that did not work for most Americans. We can't stand back and let this continue to happen. We got to act. We must recognize the time that we are in and the obligation for everyone to participate in pushing and prodding and fighting for justice. Justice is not a destination, it's a journey. So for every gain that we work so hard for, whether it's social, economic, political, environmental, whatever it is, there's no guarantee that it is going to last because there's always an equal and opposite force. So just as justice is a force, injustice is a force. And so we need that those of us who have a spirit and a heart for justice to continue to fight, to maintain the justice for ourselves, to stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, and to push for a certain type of justice moving forward. So people like Senator Ted Cruz, people like Justice Clarence Thomas, who has already weighed in on this, saying that the court overreached as well. These extremist Republican governors in the United States of America. See, power is real. And so we need to ensure that people of good consciousness and courage get the power so that we can use the power to make our nation and this world a better place. We can't play with it. And so those of us who are progressives, even though our ideas and what we are pushing and fighting for, it is rooted in a love for humanity. But none of that matters unless we get the damn power. We can have all the best ideas, but if we ain't got the power, it means almost nothing. So we have to demand that they expand that United States Supreme Court. We got to push these Democrats. I don't know what they waiting for. What else has to happen before they understand? We need to expand that Supreme Court. Abolish the filibuster. Stop playing with it. Hair on fire moment.